Zen aims at the perfection of personhood, which is not an ideology, but a way of living. Zen, which means sitting meditation, is derived from a transliteration of the Chinese word Chan. A process of discovering wisdom culminates, among other things, in the experiential apprehension of the equality of all thing events. The essence of Zen is attempting to understand the meaning of life directly, without being misled by logical thought or language. Zen is something a person does. It's not a concept that can be described in words. Despite that, words on this site will help you get some idea of what Zen is about. But remember, Zen does this not depend on words, it has to be experienced in order to understand. Zen sends us looking inside us for enlightenment. There's no need to search outside ourselves for the answers, we can find the answers in the same place that we found the questions. Human beings can't learn this truth by philosophizing or rational thought, nor by studying scriptures, taking part in worship rites and rituals, or many of the other things that people think religious people do. The first step is to control our minds, through meditation and other techniques that involve mind and body. To give up logical thinking, and avoid getting trapped in a spider's web of words. The most distinguishing feature is, its contention that wisdom, accompanied by compassion, is expressed in the everyday life world. When associating with one's self, other people, and nature, the everyday life world for most people, is an evanescent transforming stage, in which living is consumed, philosophically speaking, by an either-or, ego-logical, dualistic paradigm of thinking, with its attendant psychological states such as stress and anxiety. Zen demands an overcoming of this paradigm in practice, by achieving a holistic and non-dualistic perspective and cognition, so that the Zen practitioner can celebrate, with stillness of mind, a life directed toward the concrete thing events of everyday life and nature. Zen Buddhists pay less attention to scripture, as a means of learning, than they do to various methods of practicing Zen. The most common way of teaching is for enlightenment to be communicated direct from master to pupil. The experiential dimension in which Zen's nothing becomes understandable, refers to a quiescent state of meditation, in which is arrested the activity of an individual practitioner's ego consciousness, that functions in a close correlation with his or her body. Upon reaching such a meditational state, the Zen practitioner comes to experience an event, generally known as seeing into one's nature, an initial satori experience. His interpretation occurs because seeing is understood to be an intentional activity of the practitioner. However, this seeing has a sense of becoming visible such that one's own nature emerges in the meditative awareness, when the activity of ego consciousness is arrested. Once this experience occurs, the practitioner gradually turns the seeing into one's nature, or the practitioner realizes that one's nature is seeing. The Zen tradition interprets nature to be Buddha nature, the possibility to be awakened from fundamental ignorance. That is to say, to become a Buddha, and the way of its being is designated by the term tathata, suchness or a thing events, being such that it is showing its primordial mode of being. When this aspect of knowledge is emphasized, Zen calls it original or natural knowledge. In this connection, it contends that the seeing is not two, it is non-dualistic in nature. Although it may sound paradoxical, Zen maintains that this ground is also a fount of creativity. Because there is no determination in the ground, it is pregnant with many possibilities, or meanings to be realized. Zen maintains, via the influences from philosophical Taoism, that this creativity is in the same order as that of nature, for the practitioner reaches the original source, prior to the distinction between the outer world and the inner world.